Hi, I'm Debbie with Keyrenter Property Management here in Washington, D.C. So the funniest thing just happened to me and I can't help but share it. This is just one of the crazy little examples of some of the things you may encounter as a landlord or property manager. At the end, I'll let you know the course of action I recommend you take in this type of situation. And, by the way, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just letting you know how I would handle this type of situation. So, I got a call last night from a tenant who is shrieking and gasping for air. He sounds like he's running for his life. His high-pitched screams could be heard from my dog, who was across the room, who also took flight in fear for her life. My first thought is someone is chasing him with a gun or a knife, and I need to hang up and call the police. Once I was able to calm the tenant enough for him to speak coherently, he explains that he was cleaning behind his fridge and came across 2 dead mice. Now, these dead mice did not in fact come to life, and they were not savagely chasing him out of the house, as you would be envisioning. So, of course, I called pest control. Pest control agreed to be at the property first thing this morning. However, the tenant demanded to be put up in a hotel for the night because, of course, he cannot go back inside the house until the monsters have been exorcised. And, of course, he expects the owner to pay for this hotel. Pest control arrived as scheduled and looked behind the fridge, only discovered that the 2 dead mice were not actually dead, nor were they mice. That's right. It turns out that these monsters behind the fridge were cat toys. That's right. Cat toys. Can you believe it? I could not stop laughing. So how do you handle this type of situation as a landlord or property manager? Well, in this particular case, we have a quarterly pest preventative service contract in place. Many quarterly service contracts include one additional service at no extra cost. So there was no charge for the service, luckily, because if not, this bill would have been the responsibility of the tenant. As for paying the hotel bill, well, that's just a hard lesson learned by the tenant. I definitely recommend that if you own a detached rental property in DC, you should have at the minimum a quarterly pest preventative service contract in place. And for attached multi-unit properties, you should have a monthly preventative service contract in place. You might be thinking, well, I've never had any pest issues in all the years of my rental property. And that may be the case. However, it only takes one tenant that can create issues that they may not even be aware that they are causing. Or maybe your neighbor decides to renovate their home and any pest activity in their home is now on the move to the nearest property. So prevention is key. If you do have a pest service contract in place, make sure they are not just spraying with chemicals. It is very important to use a pest service company that will thoroughly go through the home and identify any entrance areas and seal them off. If you feel that you have a tenant that is negligent and not doing their part to keep the property clean, then there are other courses of action you can take. It is important to be prepared in the event your tenant decides to stop paying rent because of the pests, and you need to seek legal actions. The first step is to keep good records and demonstrate that you have routine pest control in place. Show that you're a responsible property owner. Conduct inspections of the property and document the cleanliness. Take pictures. Your pest control company will also do this for you every time they service the property. Send your tenant literature on how they can assist with pest control. Send the tenant the report from pest control, as they will include photos and recommendations of items that need to be tended to by the tenants. If this is an attached property or multi-unit property, you can have the adjacent units inspected, and if they are found to have no evidence of pests, then you have a stronger argument that the pest issue is due to the tenant's negligence. However, before taking any action, please check with your local laws and rely on the expertise of your property manager. Pest control laws vary state by state. Your pest control company can also be a really good resource for advice, as they are the experts in that profession. The experts that I use here in Washington, D.C. are Brussels Exterminating Services and Pest Now. If you are a landlord in D.C. or know someone with a rental property that could benefit from some advice on what is and what is not the responsibility of a landlord in D.C. as it relates to pests, I'm always here to help. Contact me at 202-838-6000 or leave a comment below. Thank you.